Today we're talking to Susie Wilkins. She's a professional singer-songwriter. She's also a vocal coach specializing in clients with anxiety. Susie, thank you so much for joining us.
It is my pleasure. Lovely to be here.
So what inspired you to work with students with anxiety?
I'll be very open and honest. It's been a big issue for me, anxiety, for the entirety of my adult life. But somehow I also managed to do this crazy thing, which is go on stage and sing. And I sort of developed lots of tools to help myself with the anxiety and to help me kind of enable myself to do what I wanted to do. And I sort of wanted to help other people to do the same thing, really.
The question I get most about presentation is about nervous voice. So it's that
Okay.
shaky voice, it's that tentative voice, and you can hear someone's nervousness. It's the thing that you can't fake away.
Yeah.
So what's happening mechanically?
When you're anxious or in a state of fight or flight, everything constricts, basically. All your muscles constrict, including the muscles around your voice box and inside your voice box, your vocal fold. So that is actually the sound of your voice sort of closed, basically. So it is a thing. It is a mechanical thing. It's also obviously when you're nervous, you kind of get into a very shallow breathing pattern. So it all happens up here, and it's all very tense, and you're not properly supporting your voice from where it's supposed to be happening, which is down in the diaphragm. Yeah.
It's amazing that it really is fight or flight. I mean,
Yes.
you're giving a maid of honor speech, but your body is saying, "Run away! There's a giant bear behind you."
Yes. I mean, I also wonder, don't quote me on this because I'm not a scientist, but when you're in an intense state of fight or flight, your prefrontal cortex kind of doesn't work so well. And that's also the processing center of the brain. So I don't know if that has something to do with it as well. The kind of the best analogy or parallel I can give is about 10 years ago, I was in a car crash. Clearly, I was in intense shock. And when the police officer asked me after the crash for my address, I couldn't speak.
Well,
So there you go.
it just blocks everything.
Yeah. I mean, I hate it to kind of draw a kind of a parallel between giving a wedding speech and car crashes.
Well,
You know,
you're
it
you're
can.
really really putting people at ease.
Sorry.
I can see why
You'll
you're
be
so
fine.
good. Yeah. What I was going to say was it's also without having metal on metal violence, but it's also sort of that idea that when you get nervous, you feel everything just drop out of your brain.
Yes.
It goes blank,
Yeah.
even without the glove box or the steering wheel coming coming at you.
I
Uh,
always start with that story with all my students, just to get them nice and calm.
it does make everything else better in comparison.
Yeah.
You're just giving the speech. You're not driving into oncoming traffic. So, right,
Exactly.
it's a win.
Yes.
So, is there anything mechanically, if it's a mechanical, physical reason that's
Yeah.
constricting you, is there anything mechanical that we can do to loosen that stuff up?
Yeah. Breathe. That is
Okay.
my that is my top tip for everyone. I mean, I know it's very difficult to do when you're already sort of in a state of kind of anxiousness and it's all tense up around here. I would always suggest that you start doing this before you give your speech. Belly breathing. So my thing is breathe in through the nose for 5 seconds and out through the mouth for 5 seconds. So that's a good thing to do before you do your speech. But obviously, while you're giving your speech, it's also handy if you breathe.
Yes, it is. You don't want anyone to
So,
have to pull you off by your feet.
so I would say put a hand on your belly just to kind of remind yourself that you're breathing, kind of having that sort of physical anchor, and breathe kind of slow and deep into your belly to kind of calm it all down. I would say slow down is the other thing, because as you get nervous, you start to talk very, very fast. So I'd say slow down. Also, if you can, drop your pitch. So drop the pitch of your voice. So you're getting more of the resonance from your chest and less of it happening up here where it's going very, very high because you're so terrified. So breathe.
First time I met Jen, we were in college.
Breathe, slow down, drop your pitch, But also, if you're giving a speech to people that you love, you know and love, there's no harm in saying, I feel nervous. And lots of people are terrified of doing that, but actually we're all human beings, and I find that it's very, very useful to be able to just say at the beginning, hey, you know what, I'm really nervous. Kind of takes all the sort of the energy out of it and helps you to relax. So
well, and it's also a testament to how much you care about these people. You're sort of doing something, you're putting yourself outside your comfort zone because you care so much about these people.
yeah.
So all it does is make your speech even more sincere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so finally, so as someone who's done a ton of live performance, especially as someone who has done it as an anxious person, what would your best piece of performance advice be for speakers watching this?
Nobody knows you've made a mistake unless you say so.
That's a great point.
You know, I mean, I really have to work on some students kind of saying, don't make an expression with your face if you make a mistake. Don't laugh. Don't stop. Just carry on. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Don't call attention to it.
Yeah, I once sang the first verse about 3 times throughout an entire song because I couldn't remember the rest. I like to think nobody noticed.
All right. All right. Well, that's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
And have you ever given a speech at a wedding?
I have. Yeah, I gave a speech at my my brother's wedding. I sort of gave the best man speech, actually. So, yeah. And it was terrifying, I'm not going to lie.
But how did it go?
It was great. It was great. I mean, you know, and really for me, the thing that surpassed the nervousness was the fact that I was talking about someone that I really loved, you know, and that's all that matters.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you for lessons or speech prep or whatever, or your
my website? Also, I was going to
there you go.
SusieWilkins.com. It's all my info is on there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And that's it. I've really stuck the landing, haven't I? It was great. It was great up till then. Susie Wilkins, everybody. Susie Wilkins. Perfect. Thanks, Susie.
It was my pleasure.